Hello, race fans. Welcome to Grid Live Post Race Edition. It's going to be a little bit of a shortened race edition just because of the lateness of the timing of the end of the race. My name is Joe San Diego, proudly hosted. Before we get into the further action, definitely encourage all our viewers, feel free to leave a comment. We may share your comment online here. If you have questions, feel free to share that as well. Let's go ahead and get started with a quick update on the grid ranking for week 6. This is updated after the race today. Scott McLaughlin and Jamie Whincup are still first and second. Sebastian Ogier moves up to third because Denny Hamlin now occupies fourth place after winning today. Antonio Felix da Costa from Formula E is in fifth place. Then we have Elfyn Evans from World Rally Championship, followed by Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott moving from 12th up to 8th in the grid ranking. Mitch Evans and Brad Keselowski fell down to 10th place. Kyle Busch is outside the top 10. Definitely will have the full grid ranking posted online on our Twitter account, as well as definitely throughout the week. We'll be posting the full ranking as well, the full standings. In total, 20 drivers are being ranked right now since IndyCar hasn't run 2 races yet. Formula One, MotoGP have not completed any event yet. So once those races start coming down and taking place, it'll be really good to see what happens as everything gets going. So definitely we had a great race today. I know some folks are already talking about it, including this guy who won the pick a winner. So we got 2 people now tied for first place in pick a winner. And when it comes to online Twitter, we have these 2 folks. They have now correctly guessed the winner. The first race in Martinsville, we had Bootcamp CEO and then Sports Junkie 941 tonight predicted Denny Hamlin would get the win. So really super excited to see that's growing. When it comes to the grid staff, Kobe, Matt, and myself are still tied with 1 win each apiece. So definitely we're really excited to see more people participate in Pick a Winner. Be sure to tell your friends participate in Pick a Winner. We usually post that up a few days before the race, and then it'll get a little bit more challenging because once we do have more races going on, we will be expanding Pick a Winner to not only NASCAR, but IndyCar and whatever races running that weekend. So more opportunities to definitely get a chance to get on the leaderboard. So let's get into a little bit of tonight's race. It's interesting. Only 6 yellow flags, so 10% of the race was run under the yellow flag. But as Kobe from the podium finish and the staff at MRN, it was a long day. They've been working over 11 hours at Homestead, Miami, covering this race. And of course, yesterday's doubleheader of the Truck Series and the Truck Series and the Xfinity race. Today, everything was looking good. They even got the command to start their engines, but then the rains came. Outside of turn 4, we had some rain. So before they could even roll out pit road, we were a little bit of a rain delay. That just seems to be the luck of NASCAR this year in 2020 is rain delay after rain delay. Now, one of the big things, of course, once we did get going after the rain delay and lightning storms was we got some good green flag racing, but only for about 4 laps. Here comes the next wave of thunderstorms. Thankfully, it was just mostly lightning. Now, for a lot of new fans, NASCAR implemented in 2012 a policy where if there was lightning within 10 miles of the racetrack, yellow flag will come out and generally a red flag and then a lightning clock of 30 minutes after the last lightning strike. This was put in place after an incident in Pocono Raceway in August of 2012. The race was ended because of weather coming, but by the time fans were leaving, lightning was in the area. So this was a NASCAR safety issue. I know a lot of folks were wondering, why do we still have this policy even though there's only about 1,000 fans there and only the race teams? Do we really need it? Best for safety's sake, continuing that consistency of having that policy in place, following it, and just keeping everybody safe, especially in such a unique time where we have a lot going on. And even though there were a few fans in the stands, still it was a good idea to follow the protocol. Once we did get racing, though, one of the big movers, and this is who Matt White and Kobe Lambeth both picked for their pick a winner, was Tyler Reddick. He started 24th today. By lap 20, he was already in the top 10. He was up to 6th place even by lap 21, and that's when the first caution for on-track activities came out. Ryan Newman had a tire go flat, the right rear, most likely from contact. He spun, he went to pit road, got it fixed up. Now, one of the big things we talked about in the Grid Live pre-race show was the importance of making pit stops and track position. Track position, we saw cars could pass, but it seems, especially for that lead car, the clean air was a huge advantage. It was really hard to get around. But we'll get to a little bit more about that. Once we did get green flag racing again, Ryan Blaney had a pretty good sized lead. Ryan Blaney was looking good all day. However, it seemed his car, especially in the longer runs, it just seemed to fall off the pace. Once he fell off the pace, Denny Hamlin took the win, and then Denny Hamlin went on and won stage one. After winning stage one, it looked like this was going to be something where, depending on how many cautions we have, if there was not enough cautions, like we predicted, a race with very few cautions, this could be something where strategy, handling, and especially green flag pit stops will become a very big issue. Now, once the green flag did get going, Blaney did seem to have the fastest car once we got a restart going. But once again, a long run in stage two, Denny Hamlin came back, reclaimed the lead. Tyler Reddick, in his Richard Childress race in Chevrolet, was at third place once we hit the halfway point of the race. The halfway point was within the second stage. So once again, with NASCAR's new rule, halfway point or the end of stage two, whichever came first. So at this point, it was important in case we did have another red flag for lightning or rain, the race would most likely be called official and then ended by the end of the night. But thankfully, that was not the case. They raced all the way to the checker flag. But before we got to the checker flag point, of course, we did have green flag pit stops. Denny Hamlin and his team executed really well, and he went on to win stage two. Now, one of the things that's really interesting, nobody has swept a race in 2020 yet. Denny Hamlin was going to be the first driver to sweep if he got the win today. Stage three got going. It was a pretty tight restart in which we saw Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, not Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and Chase Elliott all up there in the top four, all contended and jostling for position and trying to get the lead. It was a really good race, and then we saw the sixth and final caution when Joey Logano and Ryan Newman had an incident. Some people were wondering such a caution, even though no car went fully spun around. But this bringing the caution out. So then we have pit stops and the restart. It was a pretty aggressive restart that we saw for a little bit 3 wide as everyone trying to claim that clean air and grab the lead before the race dragged on. Denny Hamlin again took the lead, and he just held the lead pretty much all the way through, even after the pit stops. Towards the end, it looks like Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, they were trying to get something, but it didn't seem to be the case as once again, it came down to Denny Hamlin taking the win. So he is the first driver this year to sweep a race for the 2020 season and the first driver to get 3 wins this season. And he earned his 40th career win today. So taking a look at the top 10 finishers for today, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Tyler Reddick, those 4 were the strongest 4 cars all day today in the race. Aric Almirola, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, they had up and down days. It just seemed like handling was not their greatest strengths today. They couldn't really contend for the win. We go on to Christopher Bell. Great run for him in that 95 Toyota. William Byron, a top 10. He needed one after some bad luck recently. And Brad Keselowski managed to pull off a top 10 finish as well in today's race. So overall, pretty solid race when it came to some of the front runners. We did see some folks like Kevin Harvick experience bad luck. Of course, that reflected in the grid ranking where he did fell behind. Now, one of the things we're definitely going to be curious about going forward, we don't have a race Wednesday, so we're going to have the full week off for all the teams, all the drivers, because the next race is at Talladega, a 500-mile super speedway race. So definitely that's going to be a race. A lot of people are going to be interested to see what's going to happen. It's going to be a race where, for a smaller team, especially a team that doesn't seem to be hitting all their points, like a Christopher Bell who got a top 10, maybe Bubba Wallace, maybe Aric Almirola, or Tyler Reddick. that could be a really good track for one of them to get a surprise win. A lot of first time winners have come out of Talladega. But of course, the big thing about Talladega, you got to be careful and watch out for the big one. For new race fans, the big one typically occurs at Daytona, Talladega, a wreck of 5, 10, sometimes as even as 20 cars all piled up because they're all racing so bunched up in a one big pack. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens Sunday at Talladega Superspeedway. Definitely for fans just joining us, going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today just because of the lateness of the end of the race today. But definitely share your comments, questions you might have. I know we're really super excited to have you joining us this late, especially in the East Coast. So once again, looking at the grid ranking top 10, we do see where the NASCAR drivers, only Denny Hamlin really climbed up with his win today. He's up to 4th. And then Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, and Brad Keselowski are all 6th through 10th. But Chase Elliott did come up from 12th place up to 8th place. Now, one of the big things a lot of people got to realize this year, especially since the Supercar Series, World Rally Championship, and Formula E have not raced since March, and NASCAR is the only one going. That's all likely going to change once everyone starts racing again, because we got in 2 weekends from now, the Supercar Series will turn back. A poor race for Scott McLaughlin or Jamie Whincup, you could see them slide back. You could see a NASCAR drivers move up forward. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the grid ranking the next coming weeks. So once again, folks, definitely we encourage everyone, if you're following us, be sure to follow us on Twitter. We also are on YouTube. We highly recommend you subscribe to us. Click the bell icon so as we post new videos, you get those notifications. We're going to be coming out with more content in July. And just recently, we launched a brand new TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, we highly encourage you to look for Grid Network and find us there. We're posting videos near daily, as well as some more comical videos, racing related still. But definitely, we're encouraging everyone to be involved with us. We love to hear from you, the fans. Stay engaged. So definitely, it was a really good race today overall, especially if you're a fan of longer races with green flags, green flag pit stops, green runs, because it was definitely becoming an issue where handling was the big key for Denny Hamlin's victory today. With Denny Hamlin's victory, he is now the first 3-time winner this year. He got that 40th win. It definitely looks like he is making the serious case that he can easily be the champion this year. We know last year at Homestead, he was leading. He looked like he was in a really good position to get the championship. But unfortunately, a big piece of tape that was placed on the grill in the wrong spot cost him that opportunity to take home the championship. So definitely, I think this is Denny Hamlin showing that he is for real. Win Daytona 500. Yeah, we know what happened where he went from 3rd to essentially to win in such a short distance. But those other 2 wins, he looked pretty good, and he does look really good for a championship this year. So once again, folks, we thank everyone for watching. I know this is just a little bit of a 15-minute episode of Grid Live post race, pretty late in the East Coast. West Coast, definitely we're going to still be up and going for a little while. We'll have the full grid ranking released on our Twitter page later today. You can find us at Grid Rating on Twitter, and be sure to visit our website, gridranking.com. There you'll find a link to our YouTube page as well as our Patreon and both Twitter accounts, because we also have the Grid World Motorsport League as well. So I thank everyone for watching tonight. We wish everyone a wonderful evening and have a safe week ahead.